G'day legends, I hope you're all amazing. On today's video, we're checking out the new dual loop stereo from NUX. There's a lot of features crammed into this compact looper pedal. I want to start off though by just having a quick little jam on it and showcasing what you can do using the stereo ins and stereo outs along with some of the built-in drum patterns and effects. We'll then take a quick overview of what you can do with the pedal, and I'll just give you a couple of different jams using various ways to set up the two-track looper. You can have them synced, you can have them unsynced, you can have the drum machine change patterns between parts. There's a bunch of built-in effects and ways to customize it with MIDI or using external pedals. But first, let's start with some guitar noises. Quick overview of how the pedal works and the core functions, then we'll have some fun making some music with it. As you can see, you've got three main foot switches on here. You've got a control foot switch over here, which is configurable. You've got controls for track 1 and track 2, and depending on the mode that you're in, which you can access from here, you can have these tracks synced, they can run separately, or there's what they call gig mode, which disables the drum machine. You've got a dedicated volume control for track 1 and track 2, as well as the drum parts for track 1 and track 2. You can save patches in here. There's also tap tempo. And then these buttons at the top are push button encoders. So for example, I can scroll through my different memories over here, or I can press this encoder over here and scroll through the different functions. So if I wanted to set up things like MIDI, the expression foot switches, and this comes with a 2-button foot switch, which I've set up so that I can use the drum machine on here. You can see that I've got it set up for drum on and drum off. That is like an enter button. This is like a back button when I go through on here. Again, you've got the control functions, you've got the USB functions. There are built-in effects over here. You can see there's an octaver, there's a boost, there is a cab, and there is, if you scroll all the way over here, the ability to set up whether you have the reverb just on the drums, just on the track, or a blend on there. So that is some nice quality of life stuff over there. If we scroll back over here, you can set up your headphones, you can set up your signal path. So you can see you've got a couple of different options in here. If you're using it in stereo, if you're using it as a microphone, or if you're using split outputs over here. So I've pretty much got this as it comes in here. You can set up the function of how the pedal is going to stop the loop, whether you have it in play, dub, and stop mode, or whether you have it in play, stop, or dub mode. And then you've got the recording functions over here. So I like that you can just use it as an instant foot switch. You can set it up to detect a signal, and you can even do like a pre-roll on there if you're using this with the drum machine. Each of the different examples that I'm going to give you here is going to make use of at least one of these functions at one point on here. So there's all the advanced features in there. I mean, the display, you can even upload a little image so that you can totally customize this. If we come back out though, let's have a listen to the drum machine, because this is kind of cool. If you press and hold the drum style over here, you've got a variety of different kits selectable over here. And look at this, you can kind of scroll through the different styles. You've got rock kits, you've got backbeat style kits, you've got blues stuff. There's even some electronic things right at the end over here, you know, metal drums. I really like some of these electronic options over here. And then my favorite feature is this grid over here. So you can essentially use this to change up the strength and then the variations on here. And again, by pushing this encoder, so I can go up and down through how strong the beat is. And then I can also go through different variations. So I think this is really handy. There's kind of nothing more annoying than having to scroll through things like rock beat 1A, rock beat 1B in here. I like that they've got that grid, and it's very tactile and intuitive to use. Now, like I said earlier, I've set up this foot switch so that I can turn the drum machine on and off, which works very, very nicely. And then the most important function on here, I think, is how you set up the looper. You've got a couple of options. You've got A/B sync, you've got A/B split, and then you've got gig mode, which disables the drum machine. I'll give you examples with each of those on there. Other than that, if you want to start looping, all you have to do is press the button, start recording, press it again in the way that I've set it up, and it's going to play, and press it a third time, and you can dub. And like I said earlier, if you want to set it up so that it goes record, dub, play, you can also do that. And same thing over here for the second loop. Very, very straightforward. Let's make some loops. also got the ability to load in your own WAV files on here and to save and export these. Furthermore, you can use the USB-C as an audio interface on here. So you could chuck this at the end of your pedal board chain and you've completely turned your pedal board into something that is record ready, as a gigging solution if you're a solo artist or you're doing a lot of duo gigs like I tend to do where looping is a necessity, or if you just want to place it at the end of your stereo rig to capture some inspiration. NUX have crammed so much into this and I really feel like I'm just scratching the surface of what it's capable of. So I'll put a link to this one in the video description if you want to find out more about it. Big thank you to Michael and the team at NUX for sending this one out to me. And if you like what I do here on the channel, check out the video description because you can get some free stuff. You can sign up to the Patreon and you can check out some of the music that I make with my band Ragdoll. Until next time, be well, and I'll see you then.